Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for joining us. The last session of the General Assembly marked a turning point in global economic dialogue. For the first time in history, economists from every major school of thought have converged on a shared conclusion. The system of value, SoV, deserves global consideration. We called for this global press conference today so that the members of the press have an opportunity to ask their questions to Professor V.
Thank you, Secretary General. Before I take questions from the press, I want to emphasize that the SoV system is not a replacement for nations, governments, or markets. It is a foundation that ensures money reflects real value, stabilizes economies, and protects future generations from the cycles that have defined our past. Now, I welcome your questions.
Professeur V, je suis Jean-Claude des médias européens. Comment assurer un contrôle démocratique de l'institution SoV?
Sorry, let me translate. Professor V, I'm Jean-Claude from the European media. How do we ensure democratic oversight of the SoV institution?
By limiting its power, it cannot act beyond measurement. Oversight becomes simple when discretion is removed. Now let me say this in French. En limitant son pouvoir, il ne peut pas agir au-delà de certaines limites. Le contrôle devient simple lorsque la marge de manœuvre est supprimée.
I'm John from BBC World News. Professor V, critics say SoV is too ambitious. How do you respond to concerns that global coordination is impossible?
Global coordination is already happening in trade, climate agreements, and financial regulation. SoV simplifies coordination by removing discretion. It's easier to agree on a rule than on a policy.
I'm Jamila from Al Wazira. Professor V, some nations fear losing monetary sovereignty. What do you say to them?
SoV removes the abuse of monetary sovereignty, not sovereignty itself. Nations still govern, tax, spend, and legislate. They simply do so with honest currency.
Professor V, I'm Sam from the African media. How does SoV support development without debt?
Through access to real savings, the reservoir, not loans. Development becomes investment, not indebtedness.
Professor V, I'm Jorge from the Latin American media. What about nations with volatile political systems?
SoV stabilizes economies even when politics is unstable. The currency becomes immune to political cycles.
Professor V, I'm Sarita from the Asian media. How does SoV handle rapid industrialization?
By providing stable currency, fair trade, and predictable investment flows.
I'm Martin from the Financial Times. Professor V, what happens to existing currencies? How would conversion work?
Through phased voluntary transition. No sudden shocks. No forced adoption. Nations convert their own pace, backed by the reservoir.
I'm Jeff from Reuters. Professor V, is the reservoir large enough to stabilize the world during crises?
Yes. It is designed as a multi-year buffer of essential goods. It absorbs shocks without inflation or panic.
I'm Dania from The Economist. Professor V, is this the end of central banking as we know it?
It is the end of discretionary money creation. Central banks can't print value out of thin air. We have time for one more question, please.
Thank you, Professor V. I'm Andrew Cooper from CNN International. My question is the following. Do you believe the world is ready for SoV?
I believe the world is ready for stability. I believe the world is ready for fairness. I believe the world is ready for a system that reflects reality, not illusion. So yes, I believe the world is ready. Thank you very much.